Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Christine with Patter Crafts, and today is day 7 of the 13 days of Halloween cards. Today I'm using this stamp set here from My Favorite Things called Frightfully Sweet. I've already stamped out the images, and I'm using a sentiment from the Trick or Treat stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. I am also using a black card base that's 110-pound cardstock from Recollections, and some orange and white pattern paper from my stash. It's loose in my stash, so I have no idea where it's from. I'm assuming by the weight of the paper, it's probably something that was a 12 by 12 sheet that I cut down at some point that I probably purchased loosely from either Michael's or Joann. So for these characters, I am coloring them in with the Arteza Real Brush pens. They've been stamped down with VersaFine Onyx Black ink onto watercolor paper. When I'm using these pens to color in images, I like to use watercolor paper because I find for me it's the easiest way to get these markers or pens to blend. So I like to lay down the color in the area that I think is going to be the darkest and then use my water brush to blend the color into the rest of the area that I am coloring. I really do enjoy coloring with these pens. I just wish that I had purchased the bigger set. I have the set of 48, and there's not a ton of variety of colors. And what I mean by that is, like, I think there's like 2 different purples and there's 1 orange. There might be 2 different reds, but then you might have 4 different browns. So, or I think there's like 4 or 5 different grays. It'd be nice to have a little bit more of a variety of different colors. So I might be looking into maybe getting the other set because I really do enjoy coloring with these. So just finishing up our little hedgehog here, and then we will move on to our last little image. I tried to use the orange so that it would coordinate with our pattern paper, but I didn't want to make everything orange because I didn't want it to blend into the pattern paper. So on this little guy here, I thought it'd be fun to use this like reddish brown color, and at first I was sort of liking it, but then I thought I would try to blend it in to be lighter into like his belly and the tip of his tail, but it kind of came off more pink when you're looking at it, you know, I guess I'll say in real life. So I went through and just added some more of the color so that it would be a little bit darker. So now I'm going to stamp the sentiment. This is a solid stamp, and I am using my Distress ink. This is Spiced Marmalade. I wanted the sentiment to be orange to match the paper, and I don't have an orange ink pad, so I'm using the Distress ink with the Misty so I can just stamp it over and over until I can get that image solid. And I'm using some clear embossing powder on that. So taking that to my pattern paper, I thought the best way to center that sentiment was to add adhesive to the back of that circle, or just around that edge on the back, and apply that onto that white piece so that my Trick or Treat sentiment was perfectly centered. And I still haven't found my bone folder, so I had to fold the card without that nice crease that makes it easier to fold. But I do end up finding it. So I am stamping the sentiment on this banner here. It says, "Every day with you is a treat." And now I'm just working on my inside panel. I'm just taking that other strip of that pattern paper that I cut down with a little, it's a stitched snow hillside border die, something along those lines. I'll link it in the description below. But I like to do that sometimes on the inside. It uses up that little bit of a strip of pattern paper, and it adds a little interest to the inside of the card. So I'm using some more of that distress ink to just put on that white sentiment because it just seemed a little too bright. Adding that with some foam tape. And then I'm using this Sharpie to make dash lines around the circle. Yeah, don't use a Sharpie to make dash lines. It kind of bleeds a little bit, so it's just not as crisp as a line that I would have liked. But it works. Hey, and you know what? Live and learn, right? So now I'm adhering the images. I can only fit 3 on the panel. So I decided to use 2 of the taller ones on the outside and the little smaller one in the middle, so it does not cover that sentiment. Adding some black jelly roll to their eyes, and now adding some Wink of Stella to add just a little bit of sparkle to this card. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more and you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. But until next time, bye.